Hello, everyone. We're back for the not so weekly. What is it? The weekly?
The weekly dose
The
with
weekly.
Antoinette and Grania.
Oh, dear. Right. Yes, the not so weekly dose. I am Grania Flanagan from I Am Healing, and you are.
Antoinette McQueenie homeopathy, and it's nice that we're not completely tied to this every single week. We have to do it. We kind of come on when we have something we want to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, but I also think we're really showing we're walking the talk, as in this fits in with our lifestyles.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what we urge our clients to do, to be in tune with how they're feeling and where their energy is at. And there's some weeks our energy couldn't be arsed.
That's exactly it. But it is ours today and this week, so we're here and we want to have another chat about this kind of this transition, this big journey that we're both on. We're at different stages of it, and that is perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Um, and because I'm on I reckon, one of my last periods at the moment,
Yeah.
and this has been going through my head about how I feel about it all, how I feel about finishing up, and yeah, and we're both dealing with women at the same stage of life.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's funny. I'm having these conversations with clients, but also with friends. I was with my own bone lady who listens yesterday, and she was saying, "Oh, we're losing the actual rite of passage that is menopause because of all the publicity stunt material that's out there. Whereas we want to kind of come back to, let's actually talk about what it's like." So, do you want to talk about where you're at? Because you're in it and I'm out of it. So,
Okay.
yeah, you go first.
Okay, so I had my last period 3, 4 months ago,
Mm,
something like that, and I really like having a period because it anchors me, and I know when I get my period, okay, I'm starting on day one. I know for the next 3, 4 days my energy is going to be low, and then I'm going to come into this high period, and I'm going to feel really creative, and I'm going to look really good. I'll look the best I will, and then I'm going to go into a different stage where I'm really good at different things and not so good at others, and so I know exactly where I am, and it's like I give myself permission on day one and possibly day two to rest and to spend as much time on the couch as I can. And when I don't have that, I feel a bit lost. And I'm at that
mm,
stage where I don't know where I am in my cycle because it's all over the place.
yeah,
I don't know when I'm going to get it. I don't feel those highs the way I would before. I'm not able to recognize them so easily. And like I've been in this system, operating with this system for this menstrual tracking for the last 10 years. So it's been
yeah,
a huge part of my life and been a huge part of my business and how I operate and even planning holidays or nights
yeah,
away, all of that sort of stuff. It was all around my cycle. And then when I don't have a cycle,
yeah,
I'm just a bit, so
yeah,
I'm finding that difficult. I had, I'm, like I said, I like getting the period. And it's made me not having a period has not made me think about loss of fertility because probably that's gone in the last 10 years, but it has made me more aware maybe of my own mortality. I feel like I'm
yes,
getting older.
yes,
So I'm having to work through that and what else? Yeah, just feeling a bit lost in it at
yeah.
times. So I'm really happy. Well, I'm away tonight, of course, first night that I'm away in ages, and I have my period. And that happened the last time I was away as well. And even my husband said to me, "Oh, you should really book these nights around your periods." And I said, "Really, Sherlock, really? Uh,
Wise
why
words.
didn't I think of that?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I am mourning that a little bit. And yeah,
And maybe just again for people who are listening to this, you've highlighted, yeah, there's a bit of mourning and a bit of grief, but there's also, I'm hearing, you're unstable because of, where am I at? I don't. What
yeah.
have you found? And obviously I'm hinting at homeopathy here, but what have you found to help you with that? Because again, we're sold that this is so traumatic that you must
Yeah.
do this. So what have you found helped?
Okay, so I have here hormone support, and
Mm,
very often when I'm in here and I just see it, I will take one of those. So I haven't had really anything bad at
yeah,
all. I've had nothing. I
yeah,
had a bit of anxiety a few years ago, and when I realized that it was due to hormones, then I started on stuff like this. I was getting this feeling like just I needed the release, like I needed a physical release. My breast would get sore, my stomach would get distended, and then nothing was happening. There was
yeah,
no release. So I probably, and that was carrying on then to the next month. Um, but so I use a lot of homeopathy. I use kinesiology, and I went to a lovely lady who was doing acupuncture, and she did a huge amount of work on my liver. And see, we would both work on women's livers, but when
yeah,
it's yourself and you're only taking, the occasional remedy here and there, um, you kind of forget about these things. So she did work
yeah,
on my liver, and I just had an amazing, all that kind of, it was like deflating a balloon, taking the
yes,
knot off the balloon. Everything went down, which was lovely.
yeah,
But when we're in it ourselves, we can't see all of that. So
yes.
it's really nice to hand ourselves over to somebody else,
A
isn't
hundred
it?
percent. A hundred
Oh,
percent.
and
You have
it's a
to.
relief.
You
Yeah,
have to. I mean, I think
yeah,
this is part of the problem as the female race. We don't hand ourselves over, and if ever there's a time, it's in this stage that really you deserve to be handed over and go,
yeah,
here I am, sort me. And
yeah,
I don't mean you abdicate from your own responsibility with that. But it is definitely let an expert come in and hold
yeah,
space for you.
yeah,
The other thing I would say I saw you do a lot, and you did it beautifully, was your movement. You took your dogs out walking. You did
yeah,
that so well, and also you did your joy things like your music and time with your friends and your family. So,
yeah.
you had your tribe.
Yeah, and also I'm getting very good at saying no to things. Even last night
Mm,
we had a lovely meeting with friends, and I just said no, I need to be on the couch. This is where I need to be. And I've
yes,
gotten much better, much, much better in the last few years at that. And I do think for a lot of women, going to see somebody else is it's so important because things are coming up at this stage of our lives, and we're hearing it in consultation. Women are saying to us, I thought I had dealt with this 20 years
yeah,
ago. Why is this shit coming back up now? And
yeah,
it's just another little layer that we haven't been
yes,
able to deal with, I think, until this stage of our lives when we're able to sit back, we have a bit of space and we have a bit of distance, and then this crap comes back up again. And it's just coming up to say, come on, let's do something about this. Now is the time. So I would say anyone listening, if you're feeling disappointed that this has happened, that you feel maybe you've regressed, you haven't regressed. You have powered forward to a stage where you're able to get this sorted, and you don't have to bring it with you anymore. And it's time for a kind of final push with a lot of this stuff, so we can go into the rest of our lives and we don't have this hanging over us.
yeah, 100%. 100%. It's not a reset. It's not a return to something from 20 years ago. Actually,
No,
your
no,
energy now is, I mean, it is that crone energy. It's almost like how you carry the wisdom of learning and growth through that,
yeah.
whatever that is, into this year's, that you can then hold it for the generations after you.
Yeah, yeah. And you said a lovely thing in our little chat beforehand. We were just talking about other stuff, and you were saying you always knew it was your mission to clear a lot of energy from one of your ancestral lines. You always knew that, and that's part of what this is, so that it
100%.
ends with us and
Yeah,
our, people coming after us, nieces, nephews, kids are not having to deal with this.
yeah.
We clear it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, like as you said, like that, some of the stuff that I'm doing has been there all my life, but it's only now as this crone energy is happening. and I don't have a bleed, so all of my energy is going up into my body and into my heart and soul, and it's like, oh, now I really have the oomph to power through that. So it is different, even though it's the same themes. Does that make sense? So it's exactly what you're talking about.
So what's it like for you then? When did you last have a period?
So interestingly, last year was my last year of bleeding. I had about 3 or 4 bleeds last year, three actually. And interestingly, two of them, one was when my dad started his decline. So it was in the August. And the other was the week my dad was dying. I was bleeding. I mean, energy, and I can talk about that now, but energetically, the synchronicity of that alone, that my last bleed was my dad's transition, was like, oh my God. Um, and my periods had been so, like, at that point, they were so much lighter. It was like, I almost forgot what to do with the bleed. I was like, oh, there's blood there. What do I do with this? I'd so removed myself. Um, but I think even just going a step back, I was not someone who embraced my period. I found it. I had a very heavy bleed, and I had been on the pill, and I had to deal with the fallout of being on the pill and it took a long time to clear that for me. So it was only maybe in the last 3 years I started to embrace my cycle and understand my cycle, maybe five. Um, so I didn't have as much of a, what's the word? I think I had a different journey with bleeding. So for me, my happy place was when the bleeding ended. However, when I started to go into the peri phase, the um the shock of it arriving unannounced was like, what are you doing here? It was like, that was very discombobulating for me. And again, I really had to, lean into that and work with that and kind of go, okay, I know my body is going through a change. This is okay. But one of the things that I thought I had dealt with in my late 30s, early 40s was the fact I would never be a mum. And but as my menopause symptoms were really ramping up, and obviously my fertility was really at an end, that came back for me again. Was, oh,
Of course.
I'm it's really done now. And I even see it in clients even who are mothers, they still grieve that ending of our fertile years. And
Yeah.
so, and it's really normal, and that needs to be named. Whether you've been a mother or not, there can be a grief that comes up. So that definitely happened for me last year, was that moment of, oh, this is actually the full stop in that sentence for me. So, and again, I worked with a homeopath. I have my own homeopath. I worked with her, and I worked with other therapies and other modalities to support me through that. Um, but now this year, and again, the timing. So I went into postmenopause on my dad's 1 year anniversary. So it was like,
Oh,
oh, wow. So again, like my whole world's changed. Not only have my dad is now in spirit, but also I am now a crone, a full on crone. And what I will say is 6 months into this year, obviously you never know, but I had a strong suspicion that this was how this year was going to unfold. And 6 months in, maybe a little bit sooner, 3 to 4 months, I stopped missing the release. I stopped. All of that. There's a settling that has happened in my body that is delicious, and there's a steadiness in my body. I definitely feel more of an affinity now to the moon energy than I ever did before. So I'm very aware of the cycle of the moon energy, and I very much feel that energy more. So I track my energy around the moon now more than I ever did. So I still feel, good energy with the new moon. It can be, again, depending on what kind of new moon it is. I definitely feel the slowing down at the full moon. Definitely. The tiredness, the dreams, the unsettled sleep. You know, so it sounds like I'm not as steady as I'm saying, but it's just a different, yeah. Maybe I am, but I feel hormonally you don't have those surges happening in the same way. It's more an overall energy in my body with the moon than it is this high up and high down. The other thing that we don't talk about is there was a period where my sex drive went, and I thought, oh, flippity doo dah, is that it? Is that it now? Have I dried up altogether? But no, I haven't.
And the
I mean,
world rejoices.
but you know, I mean, it is an important thing, and it's
Yeah,
obviously changed. It's changed from, you know, the sex drive I had in my 30s and 40s, but it's still there and it has come back. But it just, there was a period where, or that's a bad word, but there was a chunk of time where the sex drive just, and I literally was like, this it? And actually, it was one of our remedies that brought it back.
oh, I know which one it was. I know which
Yeah.
one it was because half the women on that proving were just like, hoo, hoo,
Yeah.
hoo.
That remedy. Yeah, she woke it all up again. Thank you. So that was amazing
Lady
for me.
Libido is back.
And again, like really, it's not the same. But I don't want it to be the same. I
Yeah,
don't want to be consumed by a libido in that way. But I'm not dead yet. I'm 52. Thank you very much. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I would say a year in, there's a steadiness, there's an embrace. I definitely feel an embracing of who I am, and in a way that was never there in my teens, 20s, and 30s. The no as a sentence has become way more true. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. So I
yeah,
don't,
yeah.
you know, yeah,
I love what you said there about being very in tune with the moon, and it's something that I suppose we would have taught women as well. If you no longer have a cycle, you can't start day one, when you start bleeding, then do start the new moon as your
yes,
day one. And
yes,
within, and track it up, but just track highs and lows, moods,
yeah,
emotions up until the full moon. And then
yeah,
start again
yeah,
with the or sorry, track it up until the next new moon and see how you're
yeah,
feeling.
yeah,
Um, that was actually a reminder to me when you said that. I used to teach
yeah.
that and then just totally forgot it in the last
Forgot
three
it.
months of like, where am I? What's going
Yeah,
on with my body?
yeah.
Um, okay, so thanks, thanks, Claudia, for
You're
that.
welcome. That'll be €100 on.
But this, I don't think this has been talked about very much on, we're seeing so much about HRT
Oh,
and periods in general, and they're so bad and all of that. But we're not really seeing much about this. Um, this for me has been the real kind of transition. And you said when you were getting a period, it would show up and you'd be like, "Oh my God, what's this doing here?" And I have a different kind of response when my period turns up. It's like, "Thank God it's here." And I remember
yeah.
going down to my girls the last time it showed up unexpectedly, saying, "Girls, I've got my period," and they were like, um, not really sharing my joy in it at all. I was so excited because I knew, okay, that's it. I'm back on track. I know exactly where I am. Tomorrow I'm on the couch as much as I can be, watch a movie,
Yeah.
take care of myself, rest up, and sort of recalibrate. So yeah, I'm
Yes.
just in that kind of flux at the moment.
Yeah.
Great now for the next month. I
Yeah.
know
I
what's going
mean,
on, and then
yeah, last week at that full moon, I mean, obviously being a Sagittarius anyway, that moon was particularly energetic for me. But I got together with my moon goddesses again, and we did our ceremony around the moon, and we slowed down, and very much exactly like what you're describing. We slowed down, we hunkered in, we became more in tune with ourselves. What do we need right now? I made cacao, and again, it was an inspired thing. It's like, we need cacao tonight. I need cacao tonight. And it was just, it really, and I'm only making the connection now, it really did remind me of period.
yeah,
The one on that full moon. Like it was like or just being in that pre-period phase even of you know, you slide into it almost with your energy. that's the energy I felt at that full moon, was just slow
That's
down
gorgeous.
and
Yeah.
take a pause. So yeah, claim
Yeah,
that,
and see,
women.
I think I've missed that. I've missed that. I haven't because I haven't had the anchor there. And that the other reason I really like having my period is that I'm really intuitive in that time, and I know remedies that clients are going to need before I'm even talking to them. It just comes very, very easy.
Yeah,
For that, for day one, day two, I'm quiet in myself. I'm not up making dinners. I'm just really focused on one thing. Now,
yeah,
packing up prescriptions could take me an hour and a half afterwards because I'm so slow. But just to get the remedy, I'm on
yeah.
fire, and I just felt I wasn't getting that. But um, but I was just missing it.
Yeah, you were absolutely.
Yeah,
So I think again, it's coming back to, and I'm saying this as a woman who really struggled with my cycle for most of my 20s and 30s and teens, and and did medicate it on, and it's something, it's been a big learning for me. But in my late 30s, obviously I found homeopathy, and everything, the world changed for me. But menopause, yes, it was a ride. Yes, it was, the peri stages were, oh, what's happening? And anxiety happened, and all of those. I mean, anxiety still happens at times, but having come through it naturally, there is something about being in a natural crone state. And again, I'm not judging anyone, I'm not disrespecting anyone, but all I'm saying is, for me, I feel the most empowered I felt in my life.
oh, I think we're done. I think you've covered it all. That's beautiful. I'm really happy for you. I'm really, really happy for you. I was on the pill as well. I did medicate my cycle for years, trying not to get pregnant. And
Yeah.
but when I stopped contraception, I really did have issues with my period. Not really issues. I was tired. I was really, really tired. And just feeling heavy in myself, but I wasn't honoring it. I wasn't sitting down.
No.
I was still
No.
running. So once I stopped that, I
Yeah.
had a very, very different experience. But I think the takeout from this is to get help. It's to know that there's help out there, whatever stage you're at. And it's not always HRT. If that doesn't float your boat, wouldn't float mine. Because I want to experience it all. I want to be, and I know a lot of women who are using HRT are not getting what you just described, that connection with the moon, and knowing where exactly they are and how they're feeling. That's kind of, it can kind of be dampened a little bit, but I don't
Yes.
want that dampened. Um,
Yeah.
so
But
do
even
get
even
do get
that
help.
that joy of that moment of sex drive waning, and the joy of it coming back, it's all very organic. I didn't
Yeah,
need a sex drive when I lost it. I mean, I was aware I'd lost it, but actually there was so many other things happening. It
yeah,
just wasn't relevant. But now it's back. It was like, since that proving, it's like, oh, thank you. Yay. I'm not done yet, and
yeah,
um again, it's like that idea of women of a certain age, we're past our sell-by date. It's not okay for us to age, it's not okay. But my sex drive is a different sex drive, and I'm loving that.
yeah. Brilliant, brilliant.
We'll leave it there.
Okay, yeah.
And
Do ask for help, I think, for
I would
anyone
love
listening.
to hear, maybe in some of the comments on whatever platform you're listening to or watching this, love to hear what your journey is like. If you have any questions for us, and if you want a private message, just do reach out to us. But yeah, I mean, maybe you found something really beneficial to you that's worked for you. Please share it.
Yeah,
And yeah, like, that's what, it's the power of talking about this is important. It's just the there's a level of the talking that is a bit sickening at the minute. This coming in
yeah,
community and having these honest chats is where I feel the power is, and you do
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
yeah. Lovely.
Over
Okay,
and
looking
out.
forward to the comments then.
Yes. Yeah. Bye,
Alrighty,
everyone.
bye. Bye bye.